Awesome. So let me share my screen as well. Great. So inside of your projects, they should all be available here. And project 3 is going to be due next Monday. So if you take a look at the PDF here, this project is very involved with using layers to kind of create a collage almost, and using a bunch of different objects in that layer in order to create a kind of postcard. Again, this project will pretty much go through in a bit more detail what I did earlier today in our lecture. I didn't go through every single feature that's a part of the layer blending styles, but this one goes through them and it goes very in depth with them as well. When you start up this project, you're going to see that there is a few files that you're going to be working with. The 04 start PSD is going to have the majority of the background that we're going to be working with. But you'll notice that there is 1, 2, 3, 4 files in total that you're going to be working with for this project. So if you do the participation using the 3 layers, you're going to be in good shape for project 3. To find those files, you're going to go to Content, Student Files for Class Projects and Capstone Projects, Initial Files for Project Assignments, and then hit project 3, and you'll notice that the 4 PSD files, or 3 PSD, 1 JPEG are in there that you're going to be using to work on this assignment. Again, I'm not going to go through all these because this does a very, very good job of explaining what each one does. But again, you can see here, you can lock the layers, you can copy layers and duplicate them like we did in our lecture. Now, if you keep going here, you'll see that more and more layers are added. And here is the effects that I was talking about earlier with the wolf and nature scene image. And you'll probably notice that you might get a bit overwhelmed at times with the amount of layers. So make sure you keep locking layers and ensuring that you take your time with them, because there's quite a few layers that we're not too familiar with. And near the end, you'll notice that the final product is showcasing this type of collage that's there as well. There's a small portion here with adding text using the type tool, and we use that over the start of our first lecture. The type tool is a very neat tool that you can use to add different types of gradients in as well. So very quickly, using my previous image as well, if I go to the left side of my toolbar here and I have a type tool, I can select T, and then you'll notice nothing happens yet until I click on my image and I load it in, and now you'll notice I have a new layer called text layer tree, and then I can just simply type away. Maybe I could say something like that. And now if I want to edit the size of my text that's there, I can hit the size button. Whoops. Make sure that I have my previous options selected. So let's just say, for instance, I have my layer selected and I increase my size here. I'm going to make sure that all the, that the layer is selected to increase the size. Now I'll make it pretty big right here. And then I can hit the select tool and then move the text around. Now, if you notice here, something that I struggled with when I started as well is that I'm moving my text around, but now I don't have any more options up here to fiddle around with my text. How do I fix that? Well, all you will need to do is go back down to the T tool, make sure that the T tool or the type tool is selected, and then select your layer again, and now you have your options back. I could change the type of color that it is. I could change the text itself. I like book there for this one. Let me see here really quickly. Now, another cool thing that you could do, which is a part of the assignment, is that there's a tool down here called the gradient tool. Now, the gradient tool does a gradient, which is what we're familiar with for the wolf with the blue. Let me show the gradient overlay again on these guys. If you notice, that's what the gradient is, where the gradient has that effect of going from one color to another. I can select my gradient tool, and now if I have my text layer selected, I can drag my, let me rasterize my text layer. I could drag my tool across it, and you'll notice though that it's dragging my gradient across all of my image here. It's doing it across every layer. So how do I fix this here? Well, if I right click onto my text that's there, let me unrasterize it as well, and I hit select pixels, you'll notice that the only thing that's selected is the text that's inside of hello world. I'm sorry, let me rasterize it one more time. And now if I select my gradient tool and I drag across it, you'll see that, not my entire image is selected, but only the text itself. Let me do this with a better, maybe this one. This is the one that you're going to use in project 3. Or again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on my text, rasterize, right click, select pixels, and that will let me select each letter that's inside of my text. I'm going to hit my gradient tool, and then I'm going to left click and drag. And now I have a nice little gradient text that I can work for with my image there. Awesome. So this is a very kind of short butchery version of Project 3, but this is essentially what you're going to be doing in Project 3 as well, using what we learned from the lecture on layers basics as well.